Hey guys, welcome to my live. I'm starting a little early just to give you guys some behind the scenes. I'm going to chop some things on camera. This is going to save me time during the live because I would like everything to be as efficient as possible when I'm teaching you guys how to make this delicious dish. Chicken lettuce wraps. Chicken lettuce wraps are on the menu. So I'm just doing some prep work before we are officially ready to go on. So if you are here right now, I'm a little bit early. The live's supposed to start at 7. It's almost 7. So I'm just doing some prep work. You know, some things that y'all don't really need to see on camera, which is dicing an onion. This way I can prepare myself for the tears if I have any tears. I am dicing a regular yellow onion right now for these chicken lettuce wraps. The chicken lettuce wraps are going to be absolutely delicious. So welcome to my live. This is Making Meals with Meka. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Today on the menu is chicken lettuce wraps. Chicken lettuce wraps are absolutely delicious. Most of us have had them if we go to major restaurants, any type of, some sushi restaurants has chicken lettuce wraps on there. And basically what chicken lettuce wraps are is a chicken mixture, right? It's a chicken mixture, and the mixture will have chicken, maybe some mushrooms, some onions. We're going to put some water chestnuts in here. And it's going to be in a delicious sauce, and you are going to cook you're going to eat the chicken mixture in a lettuce wrap. So this is a naturally low carb, high protein recipe. I am going to be going in and out, saying, reading the comments. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to my live. Yes, I absolutely love cooking. All right. Cooking is what I absolutely love to do. I've been cooking since I was 8 years old in my grandmother's kitchen, making like homemade cakes and caramels and just delicious food for the soul. And I am just very blessed and honored that I could just do this full time. So today we are making chicken lettuce wraps. Let's get into it. For this recipe, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need some chicken. All right. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm always going to give you alternatives, okay? This is my recipe, but you can take this recipe and make it your own. You love baking. I'm not a good baker, but I am trying. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. These are, to me, best for this recipe. They're going to be juicy. They are going to be meaty, and they're going to cook up nicely. So a pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I have cut up an onion, nice and diced. And I also have some green onions. We're going to throw these in a little bit later. And I have some fresh garlic. Okay, so this is a very vegetable forward recipe. I have my garlic. We're going to put in some sliced water chestnuts. I don't know if you guys have ever had water chestnuts, but these are those little crispy bits that you get like when you're ordering like Chinese stir fry or things like that. It adds a really nice texture. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying you like my earrings. I appreciate it. The water chestnuts adds a really nice texture to this dish. And we also need some bean sprouts. Now, bean sprouts are not readily available everywhere. I got these bean sprouts at an Asian store. These are beautiful, beautiful sprouts. We are going to need these in this recipe. If you're tuning in, we are making Asian chicken lettuce wraps. This is going to be a beautiful, delicious, one pot, low carb recipe. And I have my wok here. Okay. So um let's chop up this chicken. Now, I always have two cutting boards for my food. I have one for my meat and one for my fruits and vegetables. I really urge you guys, if you're cooking at home, have two separate cutting boards, one for your meat, one for your chicken. So here are the chicken thighs. We are going to get these nice and chopped. Now, typically I really wouldn't wear gloves when I'm cooking because I like to feel the meat and everything. However, because I want to stay on camera the whole entire time, I am going to wear gloves so I don't have to go off camera to wash my hands. So I'm going to wear gloves, and we're going to chop this chicken. Now, this chicken has gotten room temperature. It is really good to make sure your meats, any protein that you're cooking, make sure they are room temperature prior to cooking them. That is going to, I'm sorry guys, that is going to ensure that your chicken is going to be nice and juicy. And as you can see, we're going to dice these, but you see the little lines in the chicken. We're going to cut with the lines, and then we're going to go opposite of the lines. And that's just going to make sure that our chicken is nice and tender. Be careful when you're chopping room temperature chicken because it can be very slippery. So make sure you really do have a really nice sharp knife. And I'm just going to cut some strips. I'm just going to go in the opposite way. And I'm going to show you how big you want this chicken. You want it to be really nice bite-sized pieces. You really don't want large chunks of chicken in these chicken lettuce wraps. Everything should be relatively the same size. So I have a nice dice on the onion that you saw earlier. So I'm going to dice this chicken in the same manner, and at the same time I'm going to preheat my wok. If you don't have a wok, that's okay. You can use a skillet. However, this is enough for 4 people, and the quantity is pretty big. So you do want, a pot or a skillet that's going to be able to hold, all of the food. So I suggest a wok. If you don't have a wok, get something similar to that, because we want it to be able to hold the capacity of all the food. So this is how big we want our chicken. We want bite-sized pieces, okay? This is going to look just bite-sized for it to fit inside of our lettuce wraps. All right. So I'm just going through, and you guys are seeing me chop these boneless, skinless chicken chicken thighs. Now, you can use, honestly, for this recipe, you can use any type of meat that you want. If you're not a thigh person and you want breasts, go ahead, use a breast. I'm not going to tell you not to use a breast. If you want to use more of a ground chicken or ground turkey, you can do that as well. I like the chicken thighs because they're really tender, and it's hard to overcook. It's really hard to overcook chicken thighs, right? I feel like you can overcook chicken breasts because they don't have any fat, so they dry out really easily. But chicken thighs, you can cook these, and the more you cook them, the more tender they get. That's why boneless, skinless chicken thighs is a really good option when you're making something like this. If you want to make this vegetarian or vegan, you absolutely can. So instead of using the chicken breast, you're going to use mushroom, right? You're going to use mushroom. It's going to give you that nice, meaty texture that you're looking for, but it's vegetarian. You can also use tofu in this dish. Now, depending on the type of tofu that you use, that's going to change how you cook it, okay? I am not an expert at cooking tofu. However, I do know that it's a great substitute for this. So if you're someone that you use tofu and you're like, hey, I want to use tofu in our recipe, go ahead, use tofu, and then it makes it vegan and vegetarian. This is a really, really great recipe for someone who doesn't have a lot of time to cook. You want your food done quickly, and you want something that's very flavorful, and you just want something different throughout the night. There's so many ways that you can cook chicken, and after a while, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Like, what can I do with this chicken? Having chicken lettuce wraps is a really good way to utilize the chicken. And like I said, we can make a vegetarian version of this. If you want to use pork, I think that this would be delicious with maybe a ground pork. I love pork. I eat pork all the time. If you want to take this recipe and use ground meat, feel free to use ground meat as well. But this recipe is so versatile. You could pretty much, put anything in here and it tastes good. As long as you are using the basic seasonings that I'm going to teach you, you can pretty much make these lettuce wraps whatever you want to. So they can be mushroom lettuce wraps. They could be tofu lettuce wraps. They could be ground pork lettuce wraps, whatever you want. I'm giving you the basics, and then you take this recipe and you make it your own. And that is the really good thing about cooking, right? Is you just need the basics. And once you get the basics down, you can flip it, turn it, reverse it, however you want to, just to suit your needs. All right. So I have a good amount of chicken already cut. And believe it or not, I'm not going to season the chicken just yet. Okay. I'm not going to season the chicken just yet. This hand is still clean. I want you guys to know that. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to preheat my wok. Here's the great thing about woks. When you are cooking in a wok, everything should kind of be stir frying, right? You don't want it to be boiling or anything like that. You want to cook it on a high heat so everything is constantly stir frying. This is why I like the wok for this compared to like a pan or a pot, because I can make sure that the temperature is very high. And for woks, I feel like it heats up evenly. So everything's going to cook. It has the high sides. Everything's going to cook at an even temperature. And it's constantly going to be basically stir frying. For this, you're going to preheat your wok or preheat any vessel that you're using. And you want it to be hot enough that when you put the oil in there, it makes that sizzle. You guys know what I'm talking about. You want it to be nice and hot when you put the oil in there, because we want this chicken to kind of not crisp up, but we want it to get, like a nice firm coating. Even though we're not going to coat it, we still want it to, get a nice coating once we put it into the skillet. So I'm almost done cutting up this chicken. You see how long it took me? It took me what? Maybe 4 minutes to cut the chicken, and I'm talking to you guys. But we have this nice chicken, nice pieces. I'm going to put that in the sink. I'm going to remove my gloves. So no icky fingers. How are you guys doing today? Happy hump day. I hope everyone's doing well today. Just going to rinse my hands real quick in my soapy water there. All right. So to this, we are going to add, I want to make sure you guys, we're going to add this right here is avocado oil. I'm just going to add a little bit. Okay. You see that? Remember I said I wanted to sizzle? That's exactly what I want. I want that sizzle. This is avocado oil. Avocado oil is really, really good when you're cooking with a wok or anything in high heat. It's actually one of the best things to use. So I know my wok is nice and hot. My stove goes from like 0 to high, 0 to 10, and it's numbered, right? So I have this at around an 8. Okay, so this is at an 8. And when we put the chicken in there, it's going to give us that beautiful sizzle. That's what we're looking for. If your chicken does not do that, when you put it into your pan, it's not hot enough. Okay? We want this to be nice and hot. Everything's in there. Put that in the sink. I'm gonna run a little water on there. Put this. You want this chicken to be nice and hot. Okay? So it can cook evenly. It's gonna give us that nice coating that we're looking for. Okay? Now it's time to multitask. Who knows how to multitask? Oh, quick tip. If you guys are using this type of cutting board and it slides all over, I have a granite countertop and mine slides. Just take a wet towel, put the towel down, put the cutting board on top of the towel, and it stops it from moving. Look, I just put y'all on the game. Oh, don't worry about it. You're going to get a lot of game during this session. And I always keep some hot water because I have to clean as I go. If I don't clean as I go, I'll go crazy. All right. So I still have this on high. And we just want our chicken to cook. I'm not seasoning it right now. I am going to season it in a little bit. We just want our chicken to cook. Okay? You guys see that? This is chopped up chicken. Now, if you were doing pork, I would suggest doing some type of ground pork. Ground pork in Asian dishes is absolutely delicious. Okay? The next vegetables we're going to add in a second, we're going to add a chopped onion. This is one whole chopped onion. This is what I was chopping when you guys joined me. We have our green onion. I'm not going to chop those just yet, but it's time for the garlic. We're always going to use some fresh garlic, okay? So I have my garlic. You can go by the amount of garlic that I use, or you can use your own. So for something like this, that's about 1 pound of chicken. I'm going to use like 5 garlic cloves, guys. I love garlic. Garlic is my absolute favorite seasoning. So I'm going to use a lot. But it all balances out, right? It's not going to be, too garlicky. You just, it's just nothing better than fresh garlic. So I have a garbage bowl over there. I grew up watching Rachel Ray on the Food Network, and I understood why she had a garbage bowl, because she was in front of the camera and she didn't want to just keep putting her fingers in like the trash can. It makes perfectly good sense. So I have a garbage bowl. So I have 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to chop these up. And I hope you guys know how to chop garlic. You just take it and you smash it. And then you just remove the peel and you're just going to chop it while the chicken is cooking. I'm going to smash the garlic. If you are just tuning in, first of all, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me on Wednesday on this live. We are making one of my favorite easy dishes. This is chicken lettuce wraps. Really easy, 1-pan dish. It really doesn't have a lot of ingredients. We're going to get the flavor perfectly right. I have the chicken cooking in the wok, and now I'm going to rough chop the garlic. I want the pieces small enough where they're a nice bite, but I don't want them like itty bitty, because we just know garlic in Asian cooking is it's a must. So I'm chopping up 6 cloves of garlic right here. Okay. I have to wash my hands off. All right, let's season this chicken. I know you guys are dying to season the chicken. Let's season the chicken. So we have the chicken, and right now we got to get it to smelling good in here too, because like unseasoned chicken is not it's not the best flavor. So I am using a little kosher salt. Use whatever salt you like. I'm using some kosher salt. Okay. Whatever your dietary preference is, you use the salt how your dietary preference is. I like my food seasoned. We're also going to use some black pepper. So right now we're just seasoning the chicken that's going in our chicken lettuce wrap. I have I have salt and black pepper. Okay, just very basic. And I am going to use garlic powder. I love garlic. You don't have to put garlic powder in yours because we're using fresh garlic, but I am going to put garlic powder in mine because it's absolutely delicious and it's one of my favorite seasonings. And already the chicken is smelling better, right? It just smells better when everything's seasoned. So the chicken is almost cooked through. It's not 100% cooked through, but it's turning white. And yes, dark meat chicken does turn white. Okay, that's just the color of it. So since the chicken is almost done, I'm not going to reduce the heat. I'm going to add our next ingredient. And the next ingredient is the onion. This is one whole yellow onion. You can add sweet onion, you can add white onion. I would not suggest adding red onion to this. If you want, some color, maybe, but red onion would not be the best in here. You want to add an onion that's nice and mild in flavor. Red onion is pretty powerful to me. So remember I said you can make this your own. Make this your own, but don't add red onion to this, okay? We're going to add that nice yellow or white onion because it's going to have a milder flavor. And believe it or not, guys, this is already smelling delicious. This is such an easy dish. And when you go out to the restaurants and it tastes so complicated, but really it's really easy. We added our onion and now it's time to add the garlic. And we're like almost like the half of the way done. Seriously. So the first time I tasted this, I was at the major food chain, the Asian food chain, and I had these, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are absolutely delicious. This was, my kids were young, so this was, I want to say like 15 years ago maybe, and I think it was probably the first thing that I had in a lettuce wrap. Seriously. And I was like, this is delicious. And I just fell in love with it ever since. And every time I saw it on the menu, I would just try it out. But I am one of those people that, like, when I go to a restaurant and I try something, I'm trying to, like, articulate or trying to, like, see, like, not articulate, but, like, pick apart to see what's in there. And I'm one of those people that if I taste something once at a restaurant, my goal is to go home and try to replicate that. And I'm pretty good at it. I am pretty good at tasting something once and then going home and replicating that flavor. So I've been doing that ever since then. I've been making these ever since then from one taste. Okay, now we have in here, we have our chicken, we have onion, we have garlic. Another key component in this is ginger. I do have fresh ginger, but I want to keep this as easy for you guys as possible. I don't want you guys to peel the ginger and have to grate the ginger. So this is jarred ginger. It's perfect. You can get this from any Asian store, any specialty store. This is just ginger in a jar. I'm putting about a teaspoon in there. You can tell the difference when you don't add it and you add it. Ginger is a really big staple in Asian cooking. I need you to add ginger to these chicken lettuce wraps. It's just going to add a little twang, to make it taste delicious, okay? We're going to add that and we're just going to let all these flavors become good and acquainted, all right? While the flavors are becoming acquainted, it's time to chop our chestnuts. Now, I already had sliced chestnuts. This is strictly for texture because everything in here is going to be kind of soft. We have the chicken, the onions are cooking, the garlic. So we need a crunch. This is going to add the crunch. Now, I don't put them in here whole like that. No way. I just dump them out and then I just do like a rough. Can you guys see that through the steam? I do a rough chop. Okay. So remember I said in the beginning that everything is going to be pretty much the same shape, the same size. So we don't want these really, really big, but we do want them big enough that it's going to add a really nice texture to these lettuce wraps. Let's see what else that they have in the can. They have like bamboo. You know, you'll see like canned bamboo. Get the bamboo if you like it. They have the little baby corn. You have to chop those up really, really nicely. It's going to change the flavor profile a little bit, but you just want to add something for crunch, okay? If you don't like the water chestnuts, that's fine. If you want to add something else in there for crunch, like let's just say some celery, you can do that. I don't see why you couldn't. And we're going to put all this together. You guys see how this is coming together? Like, these are almost done. I'm not joking. And we have been cooking for 25 minutes. Okay? These are almost done. We only have a few more ingredients before they are done. So, cheers to everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. I am having a great Wednesday. Let me know where you guys are from. Where are you watching from? I see there are people on here. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Right now, I am in the Chicago area, so Chi-Town. That's what we're representing right now. Let me guys know where you're from in the comments. I would love to shout you out. Okay. So we see this, like this is what we want. We don't want any liquid in here. Okay. We want this to be nice and just kind of dry. Okay, here comes the delicious part. It's time to make the sauce. A couple components, all right? So we're going to start with sesame oil. This is only for flavor. You're not cooking anything in here. We're not frying anything. Sesame oil is very, very strong. Ooh, it's strong. This is only for flavor. We're going to add a little bit of sesame oil. Like, that's kind of like a half a teaspoon, right? For flavor. We're also going to add some rice wine vinegar. Rice wine vinegar, we're going to add about a tablespoon of that. It's very important. Okay. We are going to add some hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is a really thick, you see that? It's a thick sauce, but it's going to add a little sweetness. It's not as sweet as like a teriyaki sauce. But we are going to add the hoisin sauce, and that's about, I'm going to say about 2 to 3 tablespoons, okay? And it's also going to give it that nice, beautiful dark color. And then we're going to add, of course, y'all know we got to add soy sauce. I love soy sauce. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of that. Now, I am eyeballing this, but you can go ahead and measure it out yourself. Like I said, I've made this a zillion times, so I'm eyeballing it. Oh yeah, it's already smelling done. Now that we're on the sauce part, right? Everything is fully cooked. We can actually reduce the heat a little bit, because now we want this to simmer. Before we were stir frying, now we want it to simmer. Okay. And we're just going to continue to just kind of stir this together. Now you always have to taste. You always have to taste your food, guys. Let's just see where we are. It's delicious. I get so excited every single time I taste this. Like, I haven't made this a zillion times, but I mean, this is such a great flavor. It's not sweet, it's not spicy, it's just like perfectly mild and beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to let this simmer before we add our last 2 ingredients. Just want to make sure that all those flavors are combining. I'm going to sit there and let that simmer. In the meantime, in between time, let's get started on our lettuce. Oh, can y'all still see me? I hate being off the camera. I'm gonna have to be off the camera for like 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. So while that's simmering, let's do the lettuce. Okay. Lettuce. some now when you go to the grocery store, you'll see like bib leaf lettuce and things like that. That lettuce to me is not strong enough for these, right? The bib lettuce, even though it's lettuce cups, is very thin and it doesn't hold up to the weight of the filling. So I'm using iceberg lettuce. And what I did was I took a knife and I just went down the center and I removed the core. Okay? I removed the core and this is what you're left with. So to get really nice lettuce pieces, you're just going to go, you have to be gentle, and you're going to go around and just peel the lettuce off. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You have to be gentle, right? So you're going to go around the core, peel the lettuce off. Look at that. Look at. This is actually how I do it when I do lettuce wraps for my sandwiches, right? Look at that. That would be perfect for a sandwich, but today is going to be for a chicken lettuce wrap. And then let's go back in, and you're just going to go around. Now, once it gets towards the middle, it starts to get a little tight. I just stretch it out a little bit, but this is where you just have to be very careful. You know, be very, look at that, very smooth. And we are just removing the lettuce cups. And I'll probably chop the ends off, you know. But look at that. Look at that. Perfect lettuce cups. And I don't know about you guys, but I wash my lettuce. Right? See, that's, I can use that anyway. But I'm going to go around. And I'm going to do this until I can't pull any more lettuce from. And you have to just come, you know, stretch it a little bit. And that's okay. You need to loosen it up. Because down in the center, towards the core, it gets tighter, which is fine. So far, I've gotten about, like, what, 6 or 7 off of here. And if you have a family of 4, you might need, you know, 2 heads of lettuce. It's just me and my boo, so we don't need 2 heads of lettuce. And I have all that. And I'm not going to rinse it in this sink just yet. Okay, I have to, you guys, this is just me. I have to spray bleach in my sink when I use chicken. Okay. While I'm doing that, let's check on the wraps. Ooh. Let's check on the meat. Look at that. This is almost done. And it smells amazing in here. Alright. So I'm just going to rinse my lettuce in cold water. It's rinsing in cold water. Shaking it. And I'm just going to put it over here so it can drain. Okay? Let's finish these chicken lettuce wraps. I am so happy that you guys decided to hang out with me today. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we're almost done. Now, the good thing about the lettuce wraps, what I like about them is you get a lot of texture, okay? So, we are going to add our sprouts. This is a showstopper. Oh, I love sprouts. I love them. I love them in ramen. I love them on sandwiches. They're just delicious, okay? These are mung bean sprouts, but you can do like regular bean sprouts, like soy bean sprouts. They're going to be a little bit yellow. And this is to add crunch. And it's also going to add nutrients and things like that. If you don't want sprouts and you just want the chicken, you don't have to add the sprouts. Remember I said everything is customizable? So it's up to you. And I'm just going to gently fold the sprouts in here. Right? And they're just going to get some love. Give them a little love. And we're adding these towards the very end because we don't want them to get too soft, right? Because they're supposed to add that texture, that nice crunch that we like in a chicken lettuce wrap. Okay? So we're going to blend all that. Let that get mixed together. And then we have our green. I just love green onions. We have our green onions. I feel like when it comes to like presentation, like green onions are just so cute. Like who does not like green onions? And I always just chop the ends off. It's just my preference. And then we're going to chop these. And I'm going to chop these in a diagonal because I'm fancy. Okay? You don't have to chop them in a diagonal. But if you're fancy, then chop them in a diagonal. And this is how you prove that you're fancy, by the way you chop your green onions. Okay? And because I'm fancy, we're chopping them in a diagonal. And I chop it all the way down to the bulb. And if I was grilling outside, I would totally grill these and eat these. Okay? So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Now, because this is so saucy, like this has so much sauce, I don't have to make a sauce to go on top. But I know, you know, you'll see some with like a peanut sauce or a ginger soy sauce or something like that. You can add a sauce to this if you want to. To me, these already have so much juice, and you will see when I'm plating, I don't need a sauce. If anything, you might want to add soy sauce at the end if it doesn't have, you know, enough flavor, but you really don't need a sauce for this. And then we're going to take our beautiful green onion and just sprinkle it in there. These are the ones that didn't get chopped all the way while I was being fancy. Okay, the green onions in there. And look at that. Look at that. Those are done. Turning this down so it's on simmer. And then it's just time, it's time to plate these up. Okay? It is time to plate these beautiful lettuce wraps up. I'm going to tell you how delicious they taste. So I have a plate. Okay. Now typically when I serve these, like if you're serving these for a family, a really nice way to present these is don't pre-plate them. What you would do is you'll get a platter and you'll put all the lettuce wraps on there, right? Put the lettuce wraps on there. And you'll get a nice bowl. And you'll put the toppings in the bowl. And then you just go around and allow people to, you know, fix their plate. But I'm going to plate this up to show you how beautiful they look. I have to taste it. I mean, that's delicious. I don't have to add anything to this. But this is where you would add, you know, more soy sauce, so you could add more hoisin sauce and then cook it a little bit longer. At this point, I wouldn't add more ginger because the ginger does need time to cook, right? But you can definitely add more like vinegar, or, you know, if it's not pungy enough, because for Asian flavors, any Asian food, you want certain flavors, and it's a combination of sweet, spicy, salty, what is it? Sour. Sweet, spicy, sour, salty, and then there's like a tangy. So you want to make sure that these have all that. But let me show you how to plate these up. So I'm going to take, here's my lettuce, guys. And this is a big piece of lettuce. So we can actually break this up. When I tell you, let me show you. I cut like the little end off, right? And then, look, I'm just going to break this up. So we pretty much have 3 from 1. And these are so fun to eat. I'm just going to plate 2 though. So we take our lettuce And then I have the slotted spoon, so some of the juice could leave, but not all of it. And put that in there like such. Oh, it smells so amazing. We're gonna do the little one over here. And you don't really want to load these up with too much because it is, hot toppings on a lettuce wrap. Now, if you wanted to, right, to make this your own, if you want to, just for the very end, if you wanted to add a little, a little hot sauce or some Tabasco or what is this sauce called? You guys, I always forget the name. Sriracha. You want to add a little bit of that on top, you can do that. But here you go. This meal took us around 40 minutes to make. This is a low carb, delicious chicken lettuce wrap. I'm going to do the small one. And then all you do is you pick it up and you enjoy. That's delicious. And look at that sauce. You don't need an extra sauce because we made the sauce with the chicken. This is very fulfilling. You eat you 2 or 3 of these and you're done. These are really easy to pack for lunch. It heats up really, really well. You can even eat it cold. You can even eat it cold. Delicious. That's delicious. I appreciate you guys joining me to make this dish. I will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. I am always going to do something that's delicious. I'm going to do something that's healthy. I'm going to do something that you could make it your own. But the bottom line is the food is going to be wonderful. So join me next Wednesday. I'll announce it on Monday what we're cooking. If you want the ingredients to cook along with me or maybe to make it afterwards, inbox me, let me know. I will send you a full list of ingredients. But thank you for hanging out and making meals with Meka. And I'll see you guys later. All right. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Share this live with anyone that you think needs to know how to cook or learn how to cook or experience something delicious like these chicken lettuce wraps. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.